Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jason from Straight Edge Knives. Hey, today we got a good video for you. I think it's going to be a good video. I don't know. You know how we do it. We always go off the fly here. But the other night I was sitting out here and I had all these beautiful blades in front of me. And I was, thinking about making this video about, I did my big kind of chopper video. And then on this one, I'm like, okay, we're going to go with like the large blades, stuff that's like 6 to 7 inches, maybe even 8 inches. Trying to keep it kind of in that size comparison range. Some might be just a tad bit smaller, some might be just a tad bit larger, but I feel like they all kind of fit together. But what's funny is I did a post on my Instagram where I was talking, oh, by the way, I do have an Instagram. If none of you watching my YouTube videos don't know this, but I do have an Instagram. Go check that out, Straight Edge Knives. But I did a post with a picture of a knife, and I was sitting there and, kind of mentioned, it's hot out here, guys. I got to get my drink of soda. Kind of mentioned that, as I sit here and usually as I sit with my knives, I'm like admiring them. I really love my knives and all knives. But it got me to thinking, and this is going on a little bit of tangent here, that a lot of what my knives remind me of is kind of the friendships that I've built through the knives. Prime example, there's a prime example with all these knives here on the table. Topz knives, Phobos knives, Survival University, TKELL knives that are on this table. I've developed friendships with these people that run and own these companies and make these knives. Leo Espinoza, Eric Hansen, Tim Kell, Jason and Ruben over at Survival University. There's just so many people that I could talk about that's crazy. And then when I'm handling these knives, it makes me think about these friendships that I'm developing and building with people, and I think it's just a really cool connection that you can make with knives. So I know it's a little bit of a weird thing. I know you want to get to the knives, but think about that. Think about what besides what your knife does as a tool, what else has your knife done for you? I guess is a good question, right? Maybe it's helped you build some really great friendships and things like that. So think about that, if you will, and leave a comment down below and let me know. Maybe one of your best friends now is a knife maker that you met through their knife that they made. Who knows? But to all you knife makers and all you knife fans, cheers. This ain't Rocky Mountain water. It's a Dr. Pepper, but it's hot out here, so. And I got to go drive later. Oh, check it out. I got my custom beer cozy here, or soda cozy for today. We're going to put this down here and let's get to this, man. So today, again, we're talking about large knives, and so what I would consider the large knife range. Some of you might consider it different. Who knows? Some of you may consider these EDCs. I do. I've carried a lot of these on an everyday basis. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If you're legally allowed to do so, why not? But we got to get sort of a baseline here, like a base comparison model. And I feel like the good choice for that is the Topz Knives Operator 7. Okay. A lot of people have this blade. You may not have it, and if you don't, I'm sorry. You should get you one. It's a fantastic blade. I love all these blades on this table. But the Operator 7 is just a good, it's not a it's a good large knife. Just the blade shape, size, everything like that. It just lends itself to being one of those really good shaped large blades. Not quite a chopper, not quite an EDC, although I have carried this, but fantastic knife. I love it. And so I feel like it's a good kind of base comparison model to kind of base some of these off of. Now, some of these knives on this table, you may not have, you may have, and it's going to be really difficult. I can't sit here and kind of compare each and every one to each other, but I can't just kind of show them off and give you a really good idea of what I think a large knife is. And oh, excuse me, there was that Dr. Pepper. Large knives are fantastic. They can do a little bit of everything. They can do some of your finer work. They can do some of your heavier tasks. They're really like a good in-between knife. And if you're a hiker, backpacker, or maybe you want to carry something in your truck that you got to have. Maybe a giant chopper ain't going to fit in the back of your Honda, but, you could probably throw an Operator 7 back there. And, again, this is a great knife. I think it's, 3/4 inch thick, a 1/4 inch thick. I can't remember the exact specs on this, but big, beefy boy. You can definitely put in some heavy work with that if you need to. And so let's jump right into another large blade that I feel like is almost, they could be cousins almost, This is the TKELL Knives Sapper. Guys, just check this thing out, man. Beautiful knife. Got that nice kind of recurve on it like the Operator 7 does. There's slight recurves, but look at these guys are almost in the same size category, like almost identical in size. Obviously the Operator 7 is just a little bit longer, but they have a similar blade profile in a way. Definitely a little bit thinner on the sapper compared to the Operator 7. Both are fantastic carry blades. They both can put in some good heavy work, and you know, you got 1095 high carbon steel, and I believe this is AEBL. I believe it's the steel on the sapper. Tim, if I screwed that up, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm almost positive it's AEBL. So it's a really good stainless steel. Very cool design. This is designed by Israeli Special Forces guy, actually, and it's really cool design on here. Is we see there's like this kind of line that goes straight down the blade. Well, he was an IDF explosive expert, and I guess when you're searching for mines, you stick the tip of your blade down into the dirt slowly, obviously. And one of the things is you got to know where the tip is, right? So it's down underneath the dirt halfway. Like, hey, where's my tip? Am I over here? Am I over here? Well, if you look straight down this line, it gets a straight line all the way down to the tip. So all you have to do is look at that line, and you're going to know where your tip is down the dirt. Thought that was a really cool kind of feature to the blade. Of course, we're all not out searching for mines, right? But it's cool. I think it's a neat thing to incorporate into that. But both these blades are made here in America. You know, fantastic blades. Great carry setup here with this TKELL sapper. You got this really cool sheath. Got some sturdy metal clips here. This also has a kind of locking feature where if you kind of unscrew this little bolt right here and slide it up, tighten it back down. Let's say you're jumping out of planes for a living, right? Tighten this back up, lock it down. This blade ain't coming out, right? You jump, it ain't coming out. It's in there, right? But if you had to pull it out, you can still get it out, right? So it's a really kind of cool locking type feature for the blade if you're doing some very, very rigorous work. You know, you got this on your plate, you know, plate carrier. You know, if you got that kind of locked down and you're running, fighting, it's not going to come out until you want to pull it out. Or you can lower this down and it's going to come out nice and easy, no problem. Like, it's still super good retention, but it's a little bit easier to just draw out. So kind of gives you a little bit of level retention customization there. So that's a very cool feature. The Operator 7 comes with a very nice dangler Kydex sheath. You can also order these with the steel belt clip. With larger dives like this, though, sometimes I like the dangler because when I'm getting in and out of my truck, I'm able to pick the blade up, move it around, so it's not, you know, jamming me in my love handles because I'm a big boy. But Topz always does a great job with their Kydex. Their leather is always fantastic, and retention on their sheath is just great as well. So you kind of can't go wrong there with the Kydex on the Operator 7. Jumping into, well, let's see. Let's go into, I don't want to just, I got, most of my knives are Topz, guys. So a lot of the stuff on the table is here is Topz. So hell, let's just get right into another one. The T1 tracker, guys. So check this big boy out. This is a big, thick, beefy boy as well. Definitely an all-around camp survival tool. This thing is just kind of legendary in its own right, you know, from the Hunted movie and things like that. And you either love this knife or you hate it. It's one of those things. Great thing about the knife community is it's personal preference. Like, if you love this knife, awesome. If you don't like it, hey, that's your choice. I think you're missing out, but hey, I'm not judging. But man, I've beat on this thing. I've done some chopping into some hardwood with it. I've done some nice draw work with this lower portion, made some fire curls with the round here. I mean, this thing is just a great all-around camp blade, and it's just tough as hell, you know. It is a little bit shorter than, let's say, the Operator 7, you know, absolutely, but not by much, if you see there. They're both definitely thick, beefy boys as well. Two kind of totally different intended purposes. And so you're going to kind of see that through all these blades here. You're going to see some are definitely more suited towards combat, and some are definitely more suited towards survival / bushcraft. Can you use the Operator 7 for survival and bushcraft? Absolutely. Can you use this for combat? Absolutely. It's just depending on, I guess, what it is, what you're doing, right? But the Tom Brown tracker is just a kind of great all-around blade. I really love this thing. This is the actual knife that got me addicted to buying quality blades. My wife made a huge mistake in buying this for me for Christmas, because once I got this, I was down a rabbit hole, and now you've seen all my blades on my channel and stuff. You know, you've seen where this went, right? So this knife is always going to have a near and dear place in my heart. because of that, and that, you know, led to some really great friendships with the guys over there at Topz. So so that's the T1 tracker. You know, it's a great blade. I can definitely recommend picking one of those up. Problem here is now I got to figure out where I'm going to set these once I'm done kind of showing them off. And we're going to keep the Operator 7 here. We're going to keep this as a comparison knife. Next up, let's jump into a Phobos knife. Okay, Eric Hansen over there at Phobos is another great American-made maker. Like all of his stuff's made in America. He's a veteran. Great guy, man. I got a good interview with him at Blade Show West last year. Man, he makes some fantastic blades. This is a Tier 1 BC in Magna Cut still. This thing is such a, I mean, it's a larger blade, but man, it is light. It's just, it feels so quick in the hand. The handle ergonomics are great. It's just, I don't know, when you grab one of these, it's just something about them, man, with these Phobos knives. They're just, they're fantastic. But obviously we're looking, compared to the Operator 7, we're actually looking at definitely a little bit shorter blade by, I'd say, what, inch, 2 inches. Thickness wise, we're definitely going a little bit thinner here. You know, big difference obviously is the Magna Cut still compared to the, I'm sorry, this isn't 1095, this is 1075. I'm so used to Topz being 1095, I often forget that the Operator 7 is 1075. But obviously you're looking definitely a big thickness difference, right? And blade shape and profile are obviously way different as well. But man, this thing, I've done some work with this, and it's just a fantastic blade. I've done some batoning with it. I mean, if you look at this blade, I've literally batoned with it, chopped with it, and, you know, just beat the heck on it too. And look at it almost looks like it's still brand new. I mean, it's just, the coating that they do on their blades is great. Jimping is super nice, all well rounded. Got a nice little round spot here for striking a fire rod. Got metal, you know, bow drill rivets that go down to the actual tang, so that's supposed to create less friction on the wood when you're doing a bow drill fire. Generous Langer hole. You got a little attitude adjuster here on the bottom. It's just a fantastic, great blade. And the sheath is just very light, slim profile. It comes with a belt dangler. This is a Kydex. You can get leather for these as well. If you wanted to, you could easily take off this belt clip right here and have just a really slim package stuff in your pack, or put any type of carry method on there. So it's very, very good sheath, great quality. Love this thing too. I mean, I oftentimes run into the problem of not knowing what the hell I'm going to carry today, you know, because I run into, like, there's so many blades that I like and I like to carry. But the Tier 1 BC for Phobos is freaking fantastic. It's, you know what, I'm just going to kind of work my way this way. We're going to do that. Next up, we got a very cool blade. This was actually, this is a Sterling F. Buster Cutlery exclusive. This is his design, and he had Topz Knives make this. And this is the Sandbar Bowie. And man, you want to talk about a quick and light fighter. Look at this bad boy right here. Very, very awesome blade. It's got this nice guard right here, nice full hand, got this coffin handle, which is awesome. I think coffin handles aren't used enough in my opinion. It's just a really cool shape. It fits your hand nicely. It flares out to help lock it in. But man, look at this thing. Nice little wicked skinny fighter. That's what I would call this, man. I would honestly call this a, you know, a fighter knife, you know. And Sandbar Bowie, you know, Jim Bowie, if you know anything about the Bowie knives, you know, you have the Sandbar fight, the famous Sandbar fight, right? This thing was very, very cool. They, you know, it's the Fightin' Rooster line, essentially, from Sterling F. Buster. Like I said, made by Topz. This is 1095 high carbon steel. Putting these up against the Operator 7. They're almost there in length, but you can see they're, you know, the Operator 7's a little bit wider in the body compared to the Sandbar Bowie. Definitely a little bit thicker, you know, 1075, 1095. Definitely a lot more weight with the Operator 7, but this thing is just quick, fast, light. I mean, I don't know, it's a super cool blade, and there wasn't a whole lot of these made either, guys. I think there was 100 maybe made, maybe a little bit more. I can't remember the exact number on that, but if you guys look for one of these and hunt one down, definitely worth getting. It's got a really nice Kydex sheath, fits the blade perfectly. It's got a nice, you know, steel clip, rotating clip, belt clip there. Blade locks in nicely. I mean, it's got a nice thumb wrap. Get it out, do your field dressing work, if you will, wink, you know. So Sandbar Bowie is definitely a cool one to get. Let's jump over to the another world famous Topz Knives Steel Eagle 107D. Man, this one's a little bit tricked out, man. Somebody, you know, I got this one in on a trade. Somebody did their own kind of Rocky Mountain tread on the handle, and it came out fantastic. I love it. Man, this is the Tonto point with the sawback, and this is like, you know, basically one of the designs that started Topz Knives. Man, this thing is a beefy chunk of steel. This one is 1095. We stand it up next to Operator 7. They're basically identical in height. Thickness wise, you're pretty damn close, but obviously you're getting a Tonto point compared to a recurve Bowie. Definitely some handle difference there. I mean, you got some meat to hold on to with this handle, and man, this thing is made to do some pounding, chopping, fighting, whatever it is you needed to do. The Steel Eagle was designed to take it, for sure, man. This thing is just a great all-around beat the hell out of whatever you need to blade, man. You can come in at, you know, adjust some attitudes with the pommel, make some notches with a sawback, you can reverse grip, do what you got to do. This also comes in a hunter point. There's a few varying different length size blades. This one's a 7-inch. They make a 111, which is like an 11-inch blade. They make the 105Cs. So there's a lot of different options you can have with this. This particular 107D came with a steel clip, Coyote Tan Kydex sheath. You can get these with a dangler as well, but locks in great, not a problem. Fantastic blade, man. The 107's a classic. Jumping in over to the Prather War Bowie, guys. So this one's a very popular model. We're jumping into, again, like a larger Bowie style blade with a coffin handle as well, but I mean, check that out. This thing is fantastic too. I mean, it's just, you get these blades in your hand and you can't help but fall in love with them. I mean, and look at that. I mean, identical to Operator 7 in length. Definitely, I would say the Operator 7's maybe just a hair thicker in steel material. But, I mean, this is another one of those knives where you can come in, you can do some heavy chopping. You got that nice, you know, clip point there for piercing into some zombie raccoon hides, you know, or, you know, whatever else you got to poke. And come in here, it feels really good. I mean, this coffin handle kind of flares out, so it locks it into your hand. You can get up in here tight, reverse grip with this nice choil right here. It's going to lock your hand into place, so you're not going to accidentally slip up on the blade if you're having to do some combative type stuff. I'm not a knife fighter or anything like that. I've never taken any real knife fighting classes, so I'm just guessing. But, well, kind of talking to a lot of people that, you know, it seems like it's a good thing to have. But the Prather War Bowie, again, got a nice, this isn't actually this is a custom Kydex sheath that came with my War Bowie, because I got this in on I bought this used, and this was a Kydex sheath that somebody had made for it, and I kind of altered it and added on this clip here that I don't even know where I got this clip at, but this typically comes in the nylon sheath like this from Topz Knives, so be aware of that when you buy one. It comes with a nylon sheath, but there's a lot of great custom Kydex makers out there. But Prather War Bowie, definitely one to pick up. The Topz Knives Longhorn Bowie, again, this is a knife that typically comes with the sheath, the nylon sheath. This particular leather sheath was made by Aaron Morgan over at Hootin' Air Outdoors. Hit him up about making this bad boy for me, and he did, and I love it. This originally came in the acid wash finish, which Topz has discontinued, and I had them redo it in the midnight bronze Cerakote, and with this blacked out handle. Oh my gosh, it is just a thing of beauty. Look at that. Oh man, I love this thing. And with this kind of blacked out black stitch sheath, it's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. I love this thing. This Longhorn Bowie, guys, this is one I would say don't sleep on. It is just the ergonomics on it. It just fits my XL hand like a glove. It just feels so nice. Everything's kind of rounded. I don't get any hot spots on this thing. You got a nice little finger choil here you can get in on. And again, this is one of those knives where you can do some decent, good chopping with it. You can do some piercing. You can do some fine work with it, choke up on it, get in there and do some fine work with it. And it's kind of a really good blade to do a little bit of everything. Standing it up next to the Operator 7, you're getting just a little bit more length with the Longhorn Bowie than you do with the Operator 7. Not by much, but kind of stand them up next to each other. Kind of get a nice look at them there. Getting a little bit more handle, so to speak, with the Longhorn. But man, this thing is just... This is one of those knives where I don't know if people... You know, when I've worked a couple of shows with Topz, and I recommend this knife to people and they hadn't really looked at it, or man, and once they pick it up, they're like, they almost always go, oh wow, that just melts into your hand. I mean, it's just, if you can get a chance to get your hands on one of these and check it out, I would definitely suggest doing so. You're probably going to wind up buying it though, just so you know. But anyway, we're going to move on here. Guys, this is one that's super cool. This is one that I don't think a lot of people know about. I actually found out about it at SHOT Show. I just happened to go by Springfield Armory. I don't know what that was. I just happened to go by Springfield Armory to ask them about a knife that they had that Topz did. They did this hunter's knife, right? I wanted to see it in person. They just didn't happen to have it. And they're like, but when I asked them about it, they go, oh, which knife are you talking about? I go, what do you mean which one? They go, well, we have two that Topz made for us. I go, what's the other one? And he told me to look this one up, and I was like, what the hell? How come nobody knows about this, guys? So this is an actual collaboration between Springfield Armory and Topz Knives. And guys, this thing is badass. So like, let's pull this sucker out. This is a collectible for me. They only made 300 of these, and they are sold out from what I can tell. But guys, check this out. It's basically called the Springfield Armory Clip Point. Come on, guys. We all know what this kind of looks like, right? And it's 1095 full tang, not a rat tail. And this is, to me, is what that knife should be. And as far as, you know, with that full tang and stuff, I know that I'm not trying to start a shit storm, guys. Of fire. There's nothing. The other one's awesome too, but man, this thing with the full tang and everything, just look at it, man. Look at that, badass. I mean. Stand it up here next to Operator 7. A little bit shorter, a little bit thinner, you know. But, I mean, for a combat knife, oh, man, I really wish there was more than 300 of these. Because once people started finding out about it, they disappeared, you know. And I can't believe Springfield didn't advertise these more. I got a whole review, like an unboxing of this blade. But I'm not using this blade at all, because you know there's only 300 of them made, and I kind of want to keep it as a collectible. But beautiful leather sheath. I mean, this thing is just all around a wicked blade. I have occasionally seen these pop up on the secondary market, not very often, so definitely keep an eye out if that's something you guys are interested in. Feel free to not message me. I'm not selling mine on this, so you know, I'm keeping that one. But anyway, let's jump over to the next guy, and jumping into another Phobos knife, guys. And this is the Phobos Alaris. Now, I have 3 Phobos knives. I have the Tier 1 BC, the Alaris, and I have the Cacula. The Cacula, I believe, is jumping down into a little bit of the shorter blade. This one is almost into that realm. Like, you could bounce this from like the medium size, like the 4 to 6 inch blades, or it kind of comes right in on the cusp of the larger blades. Definitely, it is a little bit shorter, but definitely a wider blade. But check this guy out. I mean, it's got a full size handle. And look at the belly on that. I mean, this is a good all around just kind of camp blade. I mean, you could do woodwork with this. You could do food prep with this. It's thick enough. You can do some batoning with it, which I've done. I know there's controversy on that, but we're not going to get into that. You have great ergonomics on this handle. Again, you have the bow drill divot where it goes all the way down to the tang for less friction. Full size grip. Got an attitude adjuster on the bottom. This thing is just wicked sharp, man, and great. Again, great blade. Definitely a lot shorter, right? But it's just kind of one of those ones where you can kind of bounce it either way. As far as size, you know, which size category you want to put it in. I thought I would include it in the larger blades. But this thing is just got, you know, like I said, Eric over there does a really good job with the ergonomics. You know, you can rest your thumb up here easily to do your finer work. You know, come in here, do your chopping, you know, cutting up your food, reverse grip, you know, you got to come in and do some, you know, ham slices this way. I don't know, you know, crack that coconut. There's like the rounding on the jimping in here and the finger guard is just fantastic. It's not going to create a hot spot. It's just, man, it's just a great all-around blade. What did I do with the sheath? Oh, again, with the sheath, great thinner, slim profile sheath with the Kydex piece here for a belt loop for a dangler. So you can remove that and kind of add any type of carry system you want to it. Works very, very well. Great retention. It's enough holes and slots here that you could put any type, damn near any type of system you want, tech lock, molly, whatever. But I mean, again, I kind of like the dangler setups. And again, this is one you can get with a very beautiful leather sheath if you choose to do so with that option. Great retention on the sheath, but this is a great kind of lightweight package as well. Goes very, very well in the Phobos lineup. Again, I can't speak highly enough about, you know, Topz Phobos and the TKELLs. I mean, they're all great American-made blades. I got some stuff from Condor over here. We're going to get over there. Next up, guys, we got the Topz knives Tex Creek XL. And this is one of my favorite blades from Topz, or the Tex Creek line in general is just one of my favorite blades from Topz knives. I basically have all of their models in this. There's just something about this blade that it just speaks to me, as far as it's a great blade shape. It's simple. And it speaks to me in the fact that I feel like this is something, if you threw some old wood handles on here, or elk or something on there, this would be something that Wyatt Earp would have been carrying in the Wild West. It literally, you know, it's just got that Wild West feel to it that I love. You got this nice generous handguard. This is the XL model, so you got the longer blade, where the traditional Tex Creek has like a 4-inch blade. You're definitely getting a little bit longer here. Just a little bit shorter than the Operator 7. Definitely a little bit thinner. This is 1095, 1075, but you know, a little bit thinner in the handle, but you can get a good grip on it. I mean, it's just got this kind of swedge here on the back. This is just a great blade. You can do a lot of different stuff with this blade as well. It's an all-around camp blade. Like, you could utilize it for self-defense if you had to, self-preservation. You can utilize it for food prep, cutting meat, vegetables. You can use it for making fire sticks. You can baton with it to a little bit, to a certain degree. I mean, it's just going to be a kind of a great all-around knife. Comes with a beautiful leather sheath. These brown leather sheaths from Topz are just fantastic. They're just, still smell it. I just love the smell of these leather sheaths. Fits in there nicely, carries, looks very classy on your belt. One thing I can say with leather, some people love it, some people hate it. I'm kind of both ways with it. Depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing. I'll wear this out on a fancy night out, because this beautiful leather sheath, people don't look, they barely glance at it, and it kind of goes with your attire if it's a nice Western attire. And people don't glance at it. You throw on a Kydex sheath, and all of a sudden people are looking at you like, what the hell is this guy doing carrying around a tactical knife? So, you know, you kind of think about it, it's a little inconspicuous. People just don't really think twice about knives in a leather sheath very often. So, you know, think about that. If you're, you know, want to be a little less inconspicuous, still carry a large blade, throw it in a nice looking leather sheath, and people kind of don't really bat too much of an eye. So, I know it's kind of a weird subject to bring up, but guys, Topz Tex Creek XL, awesome blade. I love that thing. We're going to get into one that, this is an honorably discharged model, and this is the Topz Knives Mac 7. So check this bad boy out. This thing is just a wicked double-edged stabby dagger boy, man. Full tang, 1095. It's got some weight to it. It's got these cool little hook guards here. I don't even know what those are. I mean, you poke into something all the way to here. This is going to stop it and pull it out and do what you got to do. Got a nice scraper / attitude adjuster on the bottom. I haven't done like a full review on this blade, again, because this one's a discontinued model. I kind of don't want to beat it up really. Plus, because it's a double-edged kind of dagger style blade, it's not really a woodsy type knife. This is more of a self-preservation type knife. So you know, how am I going to baton with this and stuff, you know? Could you use it for some of that stuff? Absolutely, to a certain degree, obviously. Just like anything, it's, you know, it's intended use, right? But you're getting almost the same length as the Operator 7. A little bit I mean, I would guess it's definitely a little bit thinner than the Operator 7, but it's kind of hard to tell because you have two bevels on each side. Got this nice, really cool handle, man. This thing is old school right here, but it's definitely got an intended use, and that's combat / self-preservation. And you know, you can definitely put some work in with this bad boy. But again, it's a little bit more on the specialty side, if you will, in my opinion. But it's a really cool knife. I was lucky to pick this up, and I'm glad I did. And we're going to keep going with that kind of same theme, because here's another discontinued honorably discharged model. This is the Showdown Delta from Topz Knives. So look at this fighter. And again, I kind of classify this as a fighter. It has almost the same handle as the Apache Falcon. It's got this nice kind of guard built into the finger choil here, help keep your hands slipping up. You can actually jump up here into this area right here and get up and do some closer work. Got some jimping right here on the back, although this kind of guard right here that helps keep your hand from slipping up, well, it makes it a little hard to put your thumb over the back there. But you do have a blade edge here on the back as well. It's not quite as acute edge as the primary edge, so I believe this is, I want to say this is like a 30-degree edge here on the back. But you have like your 25-degree here on the front. You got a nice swedge up here at the top for poking into stuff. So actually, if you needed to, you can kind of come in here and do some drawing or kind of wedge work, if you will, wire stripping, things like that, if you needed to, if you wanted to preserve your main fighting edge, if you will. Got a little bit of a round up here you could make some fire curls with, but again, this is, I feel like this is designed primarily more as a fighter / survival blade. But I mean, you definitely come in there, get in there, do some work with it. Very cool blade. Check that out. It's about a little bit shorter than the Operator 7. Handles about identical in thickness. Very, very cool. Totally, you know, this, I got lucky with this one too. Topz a couple of years ago just happened to do a special Christmas box, and where they tossed this into one of them. It was one that they offered, so I was like, I'm jumping on that, getting this bad boy. But Showdown Delta, definitely a cool, honorably discharged model. So you know, you got the Max 7 and the Showdown Delta. Those are kind of in my collector type pieces as well. We're going to jump into the Wild Pig Hunter, guys. This one's, look at that. Look at that. It's just made for piercing, ready to pierce into whatever you need it to. A little bit, obviously a little bit longer than the Operator 7, a little bit more thinner in the blade, a little bit more piercier, if you will. I would actually almost go so far as to say, if you put the Sandbar Bowie up next to it, about the same width blade as you can see there. Definitely a little bit more length with the Wild Pig Hunter, but I mean, definitely kind of similar, not similar profiles, but similar in width of blade, if you will. Wild Pig Hunter is definitely made to do some piercing. It's got this nice kind of triangular point down here, so your tip is, even though it's very acute, it's definitely a strong tip for piercing into the, you know, the sides of pigs and things like that when you're out hunting. Swedged out a little bit here to reduce some weight, gives it a really cool look. Got the, not quite a coffin style handle, but it's almost there. Got a couple little guards here to help keep your hands from slipping up when you're piercing. Very, very cool blade, wicked blade. Definitely put in some work. Oh no, my AC kicked on, so now you guys are gonna hear that in the background. Definitely a little bit on the thinner side compared to the Operator 7. 1095 comes in this beautiful leather sheath. Again, it's one of those things where, you know, you carry this around in public in this leather sheath, people don't really bat an eye at it, you know. So, but there are a lot of makers out there who do make some good kydex for this knife as well. So something to keep in mind if you like kydex. But the Wild Pig Hunter, definitely one to jump into. I know I got a lot of Topz knives, guys. They were the ones that kind of started me on my addiction. So, but I do have other stuff mixed in here, and we're going to jump into one of those right now. And this is the Spirit. This is the Courage. I had to think. There's 3 blades in the Survival University lineup made by Condor Knife and Tools. These blades are all sold. These are made by Condor Knife and Tool, and they're sold exclusively through the Survival University. And so this is the Courage. And this is their full-size kind of do-it-all camp / hunting knife. This is 1095 high carbon steel. You're almost getting the same height as the Operator 7. You're definitely a little bit thinner though in the steel, But man, this is ergonomically, the way they shaped this handle, it's just fantastic. It feels great in the hand. You can work with this thing all day, making wood shavings and carvings, you know, making bow drill divots. You got a scraper here on the back, so if you got some bark, you can make some fine scrape shavings, or, you know, adjust some attitudes. They designed this knife to be used. They teach survival classes over there in Colorado. Jason and Ruben over there, and you know, they need it. They designed 3 knives, the Spirit, which will be in my next video on the EDC style, or not EDC, but like your kind of between EDC and these blades. Anyway, I don't know what size you'd call those, medium size blades. You saw the gallantry in my extra large chopper blades. So they basically have 3 blades, small, medium, large, ready to rock and roll for any type of task that you need. I got a whole video on this blade as well. It's fantastically made, I guess, so that's the word. The sheath is super cool because it's multiple carry setups. You got a belt loop here. You could take all this molly webbing off and put, you know, tech lock or anything you want on there. You can open up this little Velcro piece right here. You got this spot, you can slide it through, put like a Altoid tin or something like that on here with some fire starting stuff. It's got fire rod holders on here. I mean, they kind of set this up for you to be able to carry it any way that you want. The retention on it's very nice. Got a nice thumb ramp. So this Courage from Survival University is just a really, really great blade as well for that size category. We're going to jump into something that's a little bit more of again, kind of a fighter style blade, if you will. This is the TKELL Mercenary, and this one is 80 CRV2, and man, this thing is a fantastic blade as well. Got that nice spear point with a swedge on top. It's got a thinner handle. The ergonomics on this thing are just, I got big hands, and even though this is a skinnier handle, it feels great in my hand. It's got a nice finger choil up here. You can get in here and do some finer work. I actually went to Oregon and I carried this on my hip every day. We were on like a 2-week vacation, and I carried this thing everywhere on my hip. It never really felt like it was in the way. It wasn't super heavy. It just, I mean, I carried it with this, you know, belt loop right here, and it didn't dig into my side, and it was there if I needed it, and it was a great blade to carry. It's got a nice weight to it for its size. It's got that locking mechanism on the sheath as well, like the Sapper does. And again, this is one of those ones where it's teetering on that. You know, it could be a size down, or it could be up in this category. You know, it's definitely a little bit shorter, but you know, if we kind of compare that to the Alaris, you know, you're kind of looking the same, almost identical height with the Alaris. So it's kind of, again, one of those ones that teeters back and forth between. But man, this is just a really, really, really you know, great blade. I love the way this thing feels in the hand. It's quick, fast. It's tough. I've batoned with it as well. I did a whole use video with this blade as well. Very, very cool blade. I could, you know, again, 100% American made, veteran owned company right here in the US. So definitely check out the TKELL Mercenary. And again, we're going to jump into another kind of fighter style blade. And this is the VTAC Norseman from Vikings Tactics. This was designed by Kyle Lamb, but Topz Knives made it for him. Now this is a kind of modified stock sheath. The Kydex is what came with the knife, but it had these molly lock, like Blade Tech molly locks attached to it, and I wasn't really carrying this on things, so I had a Bernie B. Velarde, Big B over there, Big B Leatherworks. He did this really cool leather wrap with a belt loop on here, so I can either carry this on my belt, or I can actually, you know, unsnap this, undo it, take this off, and I could vertical carry this knife if I wanted to, scout carry it if you will. But it just gave her a really kind of cool look, if you can see there. Very nicely done. But let's look at the blade, right? So look at this thing. Very, very wicked blade. And then look at the spine work on this thing. That they call it the blood vine work that goes all the way down the spine. It's just fantastic. It's on all 3 of the blades from VTAC that Topz did for them. You know, they had the Patriot, the Patriot XL, the Crusader, and the Norseman here. And some people originally, when saw this, thought maybe the handle looked a little too thin, but man, I tell you, once you grab a hold of this sucker, it ain't going nowhere, man. It feels really good in the hand. You can come in here, do some hard swinging and chopping. Got a really good reverse grip for whatever type of stuff you got to do there. You got a nice little finger choy. You got to come in and do some fine work. Got this, you know, kind of blood groove here on the side. Man, people get a hold of this thing. I think it really changes their mind. You can see a little bit shorter, almost a little bit about the same width of a blade as well. But man, this VTAC Norseman is kind of a great all-around blade as well. But I would say it's maybe designed to be a little bit more of a fighter. But you could use it for just about anything. And I could be wrong on that. Kyle Lamb's probably going to send me well, he ain't going to send me a message. That guy's too busy. But he'll be like, that's not what it's intended for. But it could be. But great all the way around package on that. I love that knife too. We're going to jump into, we got 2 more here, guys. 2 more, and then we're going to wrap this up. I know that we're getting on to being what? Geez Louise, we're in 40 minutes here. This is definitely going to be one of my longer videos. The Armado 6.5, designed by Josh Neveretti, made by Topz Knives, 1095 high carbon steel. This is one of the newer additions there. You can see that's a big, fat, belly, beefy boy, and that was right up my alley. That's my type of blade, man. This thing is fun. Feels really good in the hand. Again, another one of those knives where you could do some chopping, you could do some woodwork with it, you could do some food prep with it. You can kind of do just about a little bit of everything with this nice little swoop right here in the end. Locks your hand into place, or you can even kind of choke back if you want, get it between your ring finger and your middle finger, give you a little bit of that extra whip chop. It swedges down up here, gives a nice acute tip, but it's a strong tip, and you can kind of come in and you can put in some good work with this thing. I got a whole video on this one as well, and definitely worth looking at the Armado 6.5. It comes with a nice Kydex sheath with a belt loop dangler. Very well made. Again, I like the dangler, kind of moves with you as you get in and out of your truck. So really good blade there. And last but not least, we're going to get into the Hootenera Outdoors Topz Knives Brush Wolf, designed by Nate and Aaron Morgan over at Hootenera Outdoors. Topz Knives makes this for them, 1095 high carbon steel. It is a all-around Nesmuk style blade. This thing is very cool. It is a lot more. This thing is super useful. As you could tell looking at it, I used the shit out of mine. It's a very good knife for all-around camp tasks. It's about the same height as, a little bit shorter than the Operator 7, a little bit thinner, but I mean, they designed this to be an all-around knife, man. You could do woodwork with it. You could, come in here, choke up, do some fine work, again, food work. But I've done batoning with this thing. It's got a 90-degree section here for throwing a fire rod, sparking fire. Comes with a really nice leather sheath, but I actually had Aaron Morgan actually makes his own Kydex sheaths for these blades. I have a fire rod starter attached to it. It's kind of got a leather wrap with a dangler. You can take the dangler off and just run it as a belt loop. Kind of gives you a little bit of options, but very cool sheath that he made for it. Locks in very nicely. Very cool all-around camp blade. And it's not overly intimidating blade as well, but you can still do some really cool work with this if you know what you're doing, right? But that is a Brush Wolf, guys. I know we went a little long with this one. When we went through what, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. All right, guys, I know there's a little bit of an abrupt cut there. It's actually getting warm out here, and I was recording for like 40 minutes, and my camera overheated. So it shut off on me. I let it cool down. We're back. We're going to finish this up super fast. Again, these are we did like almost 20 knives out here today, kind of showing them off in that large category. I really like this size category because it's kind of a little catch-all, do-it-all type of size. And I don't know why I had a brain fart right now. I just really like the size blade. It's just they speak to me. Extra large blades speak to me. I just love blades in all general sizes. But anyway, guys, jumped back on here real quick, even though the camera overheated, just to tell you guys thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And again, I can look at all these knives and think about somebody that I've got a connection with and a friendship with because of these knives, and greatly appreciate those friendships and this knife community, man. It's a really great community. I thank you all for watching. Sound off in the comments below and let me know what's your favorite large knife, or what's even your favorite size blade to carry. there might be something that I haven't seen that I definitely would like, and let me know. I'd greatly appreciate it. And again, go follow me over on Instagram. I do a lot of stuff over there as well, different little reels and shorts and pictures, and so give it a follow over there. All right, guys, I'll have links to all of these companies down below in the description. Go check them out. And again, I greatly appreciate you watching. Stay safe, stay sharp. We'll see you next time.